so Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse are very good movies.
Yes.
Those are their whole separate category.
Yeah.
Now with Venom, Morbius,
Morbius.
Everybody.
Those guys so cringe, bro.
It's morphin' time.
Morphin' time, bro.
And well, now they have the Kraken the Hunter coming out soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to build their own universe and kind of make it like a Sinister Six.
Yeah.
But it just sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit.
You know how many times they've tried to do Sinister Six? They've tried. This is their third time trying to create like a movie portrayal of Sinister Six. So I don't know if you know this, but in the original Spider-Man, they were going to do 4 movies.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
And the fourth one was going to be Sinister Six, but then they canceled it because of the bad reception of the third one.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield's movies, they're going to do a third one because if you remember the post-credit scenes of the second one, they were hinting at Sinister Six and all that. And then they canceled that one.
And they canceled, yeah.
So like we never really got a Sinister Six to play out in the movies, in the movie screen. But I was really hoping Sony was going to do a better job.
Yeah, me too. In the Billies.
All right, and we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man today, and we're doing a mini-series too.
We are doing a miniseries.
So we're gonna be doing one on MCU characters. So we're starting off with Spider-Man, who we figured it's the most popular one, and then we're gonna do Iron Man, Captain America, and so on, so on. So Spider-Man, it's well, I feel like everybody knows these movies.
Everyone knows these movies.
Spider-Man. What's your experience watching Spider-Man when you grew up?
My experience watching Spider-Man was seeing the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
And then seeing the whole change from going from Tobey to Andrew to now Tom Holland.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yes, same thing. I grew up on the Sam Raimi trilogy, Tobey Maguire and everything. Those are the classic Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Personally, those are still one of my favorites out of all of them. And then I watched the Andrew Garfield movies just like you did. I didn't feel as closely connected to those movies. There's only 2 of them,
Yeah.
They were okay, I guess. And then now you have the current MCU movies, which I didn't like the first 2 Spider-Man movies. I thought they were very
the first, yeah.
very boring. I don't know. I feel like Spider-Man at that point was kind of already done so many times,
Yeah.
But No Way Home, I feel like really changed my perspective of those movies.
Yeah.
Have you seen No Way Home?
I have.
Okay. What were your thoughts on that? Because I really liked that movie. I feel like, honestly, it was my favorite Spider-Man movie.
No, I really liked it. I think it's one of the best ones out of the ones with Tom Holland, honestly.
Right. And did you like the other MCU movies for Spider-Man that we got?
I did. I liked the other Tom Holland ones, the first couple, but Andrew Garfield, I didn't necessarily like the story, sort of say.
For Amazing Spider-Man or
the Amazing Spider-Man,
yeah.
But I think the way it looked, though, film was
the movies
gorgeous.
Are beautiful. No, they
gorgeous,
were great.
yeah.
I feel like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was the most accurate in terms of how he was a Spider-Man himself,
Yeah, using certain tactics with his webs and stuff.
Right, he actually had a good web movement that felt fluid and like an actual spider, In fact, the way most people describe it is Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, And I agree with that personally. But yeah, but I still always will remember Tobey Maguire,
Yeah,
he's the classic Spider-Man and everything. He's still probably my favorite. But seeing him back in No Way Home was so nostalgic.
Yes, it was so exciting.
Right. And how did you feel about that movie? Overall, do you think it was almost a little too nostalgic, or it was just a good Spider-Man movie? How'd you feel about No Way Home?
I thought it was a good movie. I really did. The nostalgia was good, wasn't too much, because it's not like Tobey and Andrew stayed around, you know. So
I'm glad they only came back their last 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So
it's not like it's not gonna alter the whole thing or whatever.
Right. In a way, it's the origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think you realize that with the first 3 movies that we got for Tom Holland were his origin story pretty much.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a typical origin story like the other ones did, so I'm glad they changed it. But yeah, I really like the direction that No Way Home took for the franchise.
Yeah.
It also means that the first two Spider-Mans are also like canonically in the MCU now, which
Yeah,
is really cool,
yeah.
you know. So those movies are great and everything. But why do you think so many people like Spider-Man?
I think I think people like Spider-Man so much because of just how relatable he is as
Right.
a high school student,
High
going
school
to
student,
school.
he's broke. He's
Yeah.
he's a nerdy kid. He's not like the popular, like, everyone likes him kind of guy. He's just an average kid.
Yeah, wishing they could do something big or whatever,
Right.
So
Right. No, I think that's great. Because when you think of a superhero, what do you think of a superhero?
I realistically really just think of someone with superhuman abilities.
Right,
that-
some like really buff, strong guy,
that
that
fights crime.
is
Does
like
good.
a superhuman, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But Spider-Man was different than that. He
Yeah.
is a superhero, but that's not what his experience is based around, you know.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of the older superhero movies, even before Marvel, like DC, when it came to Superman, they don't really reflect on his past.
Right.
And then in the MCU and in Spider-Man, it's like, okay, you learn about Uncle Ben, you learn about his aunt, and his love life,
Right,
and
right.
he's a high schooler, he has friends. It's like it's not just I'm a superhero, I have to fight crime 24/7.
It's more like real life experiences, you know?
Yeah,
Like not
yeah.
some like I got superhero powers, I can do whatever I want, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that because like when you think of superheroes, you probably think of Superman or Aquaman, all those like typical superheroes, and those were all like designed to be political like figures who fought
Yeah.
crime, and were like the typical good guys at the end of the day. But Spider-Man, he had problems. He wasn't a perfect character,
Yeah.
Like when Uncle Ben died, like it was kind of it wasn't his fault, but it kind of was because he was like very vengeful and he went after the guy that shot him,
Yeah.
and everything, and then he like almost killed him and he felt guilty and everything. So I just think like his story is interesting and it's unique for a superhero story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What parts do you like about Spider-Man and all that?
My parts. I like the whole web slinging just around the city. Like whenever there's a scene,
Him being
like,
Spider-Man?
yeah, just him being Spider-Man. It's gorgeous,
Right.
The way everything looks and stuff. It's great.
Right. What were your thoughts on Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man?
He was a good Spider-Man, but he's definitely more of a better Peter Parker.
I always, it's funny when I talk about Tobey Maguire now because of all the memes. Have you seen the Boy Maguire memes?
Yeah, the Boy Maguire memes. Yep.
Like that's all I think about when I think of Tobey Maguire.
Mhm.
And him as a celebrity, he's kind of funny,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
clips I've
he
seen of
jokes
him.
around. Yeah.
There's that clip of where he's going in his vehicle and he's like, "Get the fuck out of the way."
Yeah, yeah.
Get the fuck out of the way! I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!
There's cars here.
He's just yelling at people.
Or like he'll be in like the airport and then he'll just look at the camera,
Just yeah.
and he'll play like the Spider-Man music.
Yeah, so we'll say his Spidey senses were activated.
Right, like he's just a funny celebrity.
Yeah.
You don't see him around too much, so
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting because he came back the last couple of years,
Mhm.
and it felt like we had that period between the Spider-Man movies and then the new one where we just didn't even see him, and then he all of a sudden just started showing up at like he was at like a baseball game or something. Someone took a
Yeah.
picture of him, and now he's like going to do interviews for Spider-Man and all that. So it's really cool to see him make a return after so many years in like hiatus.
Yeah.
And I still think like everyone's so nostalgic for him because he was that Spider-Man growing up.
Yes,
You know what
he
I
was
mean?
the Spider-Man, and then he stopped and they moved on, and
Right.
they haven't seen him really much, in Hollywood, afterwards.
Yeah, and no, he was great. I like I said, his trilogy was a classic, iconic Spider-Man trilogy. But yeah, I mean, I guess he also has love interest.
Yeah, his love interest, and I don't know. I didn't really necessarily like the Mary Jane.
I
that
hated
was
Mary Jane,
in-
bro.
That
Did
was
you not like her
in-
either?
No, that was in the Tobey Maguire, and I did not.
What do you think was the best love interest he had out of all the different movies and adaptations? What do you think was the best?
Oh, dude.
There's a right answer to this, by the way.
Dude. Emma Stone did pretty good.
Dude, she was the best.
She's pretty good.
I think we can all agree Emma Stone was like the best love interest for him because she cared about Peter,
Yeah, she cared about Peter.
not Spider-Man, bro. She really didn't you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I feel like Mary Jane really only went with Spider-Man because He was Spider-Man.
He was Spider-Man. Yeah.
You know what's the quote? She loves him when he was Spider-Man, but they don't look at Peter Parker. I butchered that quote.
Yeah,
something like that. You know what I mean?
I know how to say it.
You know, I messed that quote up pretty bad.
Shoot.
They all look at Spider-Man, but they walk right past Peter Parker.
It's like that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
and that's exactly what MJ did to him. You know, so I think Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy was like the best.
Yeah, because the ones with Tom Holland, she does an okay job, I think, but I don't think that love is really there.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my little like hot take. I'm not a big fan of Zendaya.
Me neither.
I don't think she's like super attractive, and her as an actress, I don't care for her a whole lot. I know everybody like loves her and everything, and
I think she's good looking, but I don't think it's the right role for her. I really don't.
No.
I think it should be somebody else.
Personally, I like Emma Stone better.
Emma Stone, I think, is the best. Emma Stone.
You know what's funny though is
and the funny thing too is her energy matches his so well. She's like such a goofy person in real life and all that
and like
stuff.
MJ's is very like MJ, at least in the Tom Holland movie, she's very like negative and
and like makes fun of it.
Yeah, like it's almost like I know it's like a kind of like a cute relationship where they make fun of each other, but I don't know. Just I think Gwen Stacy was better for him.
Yeah, Gwen Stacy.
And it's kind of funny too, is that all the actors that played Spider-Man and his love interest, they all dated at one point in real life.
Yeah, it's wild.
Don't you find that interesting? Like Kirsten Dunst, who played MJ, and then Tobey Maguire, they dated for a brief amount of time. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, they dated for a brief amount of time, and then Zendaya and Tom Holland, they dated or they're actually dating right now, I believe.
Yeah.
There was that whole period where they were like all secretive about it.
They call it the Spider-Man effect.
Right, it's a Spider-Man.
Find yourself a Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane.
Spider-Riz.
Spider-Riz.
Yeah, no, it's funny when you think about it.
No, it actually is kind of crazy now that you think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that people talk about but not as much is the John Jonas James or whatever.
Oh, played by J.K. Simmons?
Yes.
Dude, great.
Such a good
Such a memorable character for being, only there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the actor that plays him did a phenomenal job. Come on, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons has so many good
Whiplash,
roles.
But he did
Whiplash.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
But he did a phenomenal job in both of those movies, and him and Spider-Man was so iconic,
Yeah.
At playing that like aggressive character and everything. It was just fun. But yeah, and then he was also in he was in No Way Home too.
Yep.
For a little bit. They had like this whole marketing trend where they did like TikToks and everything.
Yeah.
And he did like the Daily Bugle like on TikTok and all that. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'll have to show a clip on that when we edited it together. But yeah, no, memorable characters. But what did you think about the villains?
The villains. I like the villains.
Yeah.
They're very different and unique.
Here's the thing about the villains is they're not really bad guys.
No, they're not. Like in the Garfield trilogy, the guy that I don't know what his villain name is. I don't remember what it is.
Electro?
Yeah, Electro. He's just a normal dude. Like he like looks up to like
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Man, yeah, and he like is working as like a janitor or something like that inside the corporation. Then like just something crazy happens.
And he fell into like the tub of eels or something.
Yeah, just gets zapped, bro. Yeah. Insane.
Right, or like the lizard when he injects himself with the serum, and then it starts making him to a lizard and everything. He wasn't a bad guy. They're all like mad scientists that like
a little crazy.
They are a little crazy, yeah.
Okay, but like Sandman too. He's just a family guy. Like he had kids and stuff in the Maguire series.
Who?
The Sandman.
Oh yeah. No, but he
committed like one crime or something. Like he was running from the police, I think.
He was a robber, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, a robber, yeah.
And he ran and he fell in that pit and then he like got turned into a Sandman. And all Sandman. That. He wasn't really a bad guy because at the end he joins up and helps.
Yeah,
Venom,
he does. Yeah.
And then like the most iconic villain, Green Goblin.
You gotta
love him, man. Gotta love him.
You gotta love him.
First off, the actor that played him, William Dafoe, dude.
William Dafoe, bro.
Like, he did such a great job with him and all that. But he was just so, like, terrifying and, like...
Yeah.
But he was also charming in a way because he was kind of the father figure that Spider-Man didn't have.
Yeah, because, like, when he first, like, captures Peter Parker, he's like, you can join me, Spider-Man.
Right.
We can... You know,
It's such a, and then he says, like, and I think one of the best quotes that came out that was like,
Yes.
eventually the city will not love you anymore. You know?
Yes,
they want to
so
see you
iconic.
fail.
They
want to
see you fail,
I was
yeah.
like, damn, that's a deep quote
that
for a
hits hard.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
movie.
bro.
Like, man, that really, that really got to me. And yeah, like I said, he's a villain, but he's also like, because he's not necessarily bad. You know, the serum makes him forget who he is. But when he's not the Green Goblin and he's just,
normal dude.
Like he wants the best for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And he sees him as like a son. So that relationship is interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird because what was his son's name?
Harry.
Yeah, Harry.
Played by gosh, it's a big actor. James Franco.
James Franco, yeah.
Yep. What were you gonna say about that though?
I was just saying, yeah, like James Franco or whatever, Harry helps him out, tries to help him out, and then he literally sees him as like a father figure because he knows he's, alone, and him and Harry are really close, like Peter Parker and them. So
Right, they had such a special relationship in those movies and everything, and it sucks that he was only in the Sam Raimi trilogy and all that. But I mean, I'm glad they did other villains later on. But yeah, he was just iconic villain. The other one would be Venom.
Venom, dude. Him, like, oh my gosh. The symbiote, like...
The whole symbiote thing, yeah.
It's wild.
Right, and,
I used to think that he was so cool. So cool. Like,
I watched
for Halloween, I dressed up as the symbiote for, like, Halloween. It was... when
I watched the original movies, and I know people make fun of the old Venom and the whole Maguire thing. I used to think those movies were so good.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't hate them. I didn't realize there was so much hate to Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, me neither, dude. He just walk around.
Not the scene where he goes
People
in.
are giving him random looks like, what is this guy on to?
Right, when he does like the little thing, you know? Such a funny scene. Honestly, Spider-Man 3 is a comedy.
it's more of a comedy, man.
I think you can watch Spider-Man 3 and you can enjoy it,
Yeah.
I know it gets so much hate, but really, Spider-Man 3 is... If we didn't have a Spider-Man 3, I don't think Sam Raimi trilogy would have been as memorable.
Yeah, for sure.
Bully Maguire was great.
Bully Maguire.
And then, obviously, Venom was such an iconic character. He's like... okay, I guess the Green Goblin would be like the Joker to the Batman, but Venom is just, I don't know. He just there's a whole relationship with him.
He's like, I mean, what you can like compare him to?
I don't know. Like,
he's another iconic villain that,
because in a way he's
the
not
hero
really,
goes against.
He's not a villain if you think about it. I know in the movie they made him as a villain, but in the comics he's more of a anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like, he does good things for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
But, and if you watch the spinoff, which, wasn't the greatest or whatever, he played more of that hero part, you know what I mean? And did you watch the spinoff?
I have not watched them.
Okay, you're not missing out on a whole lot.
I heard they weren't that good.
Venom was okay. But the sequel was so rushed, like, everything just kind of happened. And it was sucked because Carnage was such a big part of the comics, and he's a very like awesome villain and all that. But for one, they had this PG-13 rating, so to take a villain who literally rips off people's heads and to put him on a PG-13 rating just didn't work. And he's also like have one movie with him, I feel like wasn't enough for Carnage, they're fun movies, but they're not like close to the original movies at all. And I love Tom Hardy's portrayal as Venom, but I thought he was a good actor and all
him arguing with this
him arguing back and forth. Yeah, it was weird that they were gonna put him back in the MCU. Yeah, and at the end they were like, "Nah, psych, you're going back to the Sony verse."
Yeah, because they hinted at him actually.
Remember he got teleported to that universe.
Yeah,
and then at the end of No Way Home, they were like, "You're going back."
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, wait. He did leave a trace of the symbiote behind.
Yeah.
But I like Tom Hardy playing Venom, so I didn't quite like that he left.
Yeah. Now that we're speaking of that, what do you think of Sony's portrayal for Spider-Man?
their whole like little like series they're trying to create.
Yeah, with Miles Morales,
Morbius.
those two movies.
Morbius. Besides, okay, so Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse are very good movies.
Yes.
Those are their whole separate category.
Yeah.
Now with Venom, Morbius,
Morbius.
Everybody.
Those guys so cringe, bro.
It's morphin' time.
Morphin' time, bro.
And well, now they have the Kraken the Hunter coming out soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to build their own universe and kind of make it like a Sinister Six.
Yeah.
But it just sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit.
You know how many times they've tried to do Sinister Six? They tried. This is their third time trying to create like a movie portrayal of Sinister Six. So I don't know if you know this, but in the original Spider-Man, they were going to do 4 movies.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
And the 4th one was going to be Sinister Six, but then they canceled it because of the bad reception of the 3rd one.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield's movies, they're going to do a 3rd one because if you remember the post-credit scenes of the 2nd one, they were hinting at Sinister Six and all that. And then they canceled that one.
And they canceled, yeah.
So, like, we never really got a Sinister Six to play out in the movies, in the movie screen. But I was really hoping Sony was going to do a better job than their villains.
Me too. I mean, they did really good with the, Into the Spider-Verse and Across Spider-Verse. But the rest of them, I don't think were too great, honestly.
Yeah, you haven't watched all of them, you said, so but you really aren't missing
I don't
out.
know I don't know what, like, if it's maybe different director or what, who does that stuff, but it is kind of strange, you think.
Well, they also have this, like, whole, like, weird, like, back and forth between Sony and Marvel.
Yeah.
Because they had the whole rights and everything, and they almost took Tom Holland's Spider-Man out of the MCU.
Yeah, they did.
I remember that, and I was like, dude, I really hope this doesn't happen because it's going to mess up so many things, Good thing they didn't. But now they have, like, now it's like you can't have all our villains in your movies. So it's like, they're like, it's weird because it's like limited in the MCU, but it's also limited in Sony's universe.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think it's weird that Sony even has the rights, but...
Yeah, well, there was a period in Marvel's early days when, before they did Iron Man movies, they were going, because comics were dying in the 80s and the 90s, so they sold out a lot of their movie rights, which is why Fox had X-Men and all that, and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four.
And they sold Spider-Man. Which is like their biggest like IP, But yeah, it was what it was.
It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the Into and the Across the Spider-Verse movies?
I thought they were great movies.
Yeah?
They were beautiful. I think, the Miles Morales as a character works really well as well.
I haven't watched them yet.
Dude, what? Oh, they're so good.
I know. And everybody talks about them and all that. And I definitely have to watch them. Now,
like with those, I feel like they really went deep with it into the whole story, but also trying to make it a little bit different.
So, now if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man's a lot older, right? In the Cross and Into the Spider-Verse?
No, he's still in high school.
Is he?
Yeah, in the first movie he is. The second one, I'm not sure if he's still in. Yeah, he's still in school. Yeah, he's in college.
He's in college. Okay, I don't know. I thought he's kind of like Miles' like mentor, right?
What?
Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker is Miles Morales' mentor. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't watched those movies yet. Yeah. No, I need to watch them for sure.
I mean, the soundtracks in them are amazing. The whole animation style is gorgeous, and then the different voice actors they have are great. They got Donald Glover in there.
Really?
Yeah, who's literally like more of like a music artist / like TV personnel person, but
yeah,
he did a good job.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know the soundtrack. I've listened to a couple of the songs before, and there was like they were all over TikTok and YouTube at one point.
Sunflower.
Yeah, Sunflower. Yep. And there's a couple other good songs I have on in my playlist. But yeah, what do you think are some of like the most like iconic like scenes and like parts of Spider-Man that you remember?
I remember the scene where Peter Parker goes to deliver the pizzas and he goes, "Pizza time."
The meme. Right.
And then all the Bully Maguire scenes.
The dancing scene for
Yeah, the
sure,
dancing
for
scene.
sure.
I really like the wrestling scene too, where he has like the concept of the suit, but he's not finished yet.
Oh yeah, and he's in the cage locked up with that guy, and he's just throwing him around. Yep.
There's some other good ones. The one where he's in the Daily Bugle, and Jonah Jameson like yelling at him, telling him, "I need more photos or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I got it or whatever," and it's like his assistant comes up and flirts with him or whatever, and he's like all weirded out.
Betty Brant.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? I remember there's a scene where he comes, Boy Maguire, and then he's like flirting with her and all that. Yeah, no, those are great scenes. I'm trying to think of something that I would remember.
The scene where the like the patio falls and she almost dies, Kristen Dunst.
Oh, she falls off the.
Yeah,
because Green Goblin came and
shows up, blows it out. Yeah.
It also had really bad CGI in that scene, but yeah. The train fight
Yeah.
with Doc. Yeah, that was such an iconic scene in Spider-Man 2. And that's the big one I remember. What about the other movies, like The Amazing Spider-Man and MCU?
Amazing Spider-Man, the first one I think of is when he goes to save Gwen and doesn't.
The second one you talking about? Man,
it's so
that
sad.
death really surprised me.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
no
I
one saw
would've
that
expected
coming.
it. Yeah.
Because he's like the superhero, you know? You think he would always like catch her or whatever, and then he doesn't. I really think we should have got a third Amazing Spider-Man movie, because I would have liked to see him like be like this dark character, you know?
Yeah, and the thing was too, with Sony, they hinted at those Amazing Spider-Man movies in Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse or whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think he's a character that loses so much in those movies, you know?
Yeah, it's so sad.
He's like, out of all the superheroes, he gets pushed around the most.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the Sam Raimi trilogies, he lost his uncle.
Yeah.
Right? But then in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, he lost his uncle, and then he lost his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then in the new movies, he lost, you know, his uncle already, and then he lost his aunt, and like now no one remembers him. Like he lost everything.
Everything.
Like out of all the superheroes, he just gets like, he takes so much.
They build the most character arc for Spider-Man, bro. I feel like.
Right, like he's got probably the most character development and all that.
Yeah, and then like they have him meet like Iron Man, and Iron Man mentors him and gives him new suits and stuff, bro.
And what were your thoughts on Tony Stark being a big part of like his like character arc? Because a lot of people didn't like that. They thought like he was like too much of like a younger version of Tony Stark.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit too much, you know, pushing the whole Tony Stark working with Spider-Man thing.
Right.
Like I see it, like obviously, you know, they're the Avengers, whatever.
Right.
Like it makes sense for that, but outside of that, I didn't really see it. You know, I didn't really see the appeal of it.
Yeah, and that's why I like the last movie, because he's on his own, you know,
Yeah.
and he's always been on his own, and that's like the whole story is him trying to figure out how to like grow up and take responsibility, you know. So to have like Tony Stark be a big part of the first movie and kind of like be a part of the second movie, it really like took away from Spider-Man's story.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like the first movie because of that. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I love Tony Stark as a character, you know, so that was always great to have him. But it definitely shadowed his development arc.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I mean, what was probably your favorite villain?
Favorite villain? I gotta say Green Goblin.
Green Goblin?
He's just the most iconic. You know, he's the biggest. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe played him excellently.
Does an amazing job every single freaking time.
I know.
Even in the newest one, does an amazing job.
The scene where he stabbed him in the last one really surprised me.
Oh my gosh!
I really thought Tobey Maguire was gonna die. But he didn't,
Dude,
but
and then the freaking scene too, in the newest movie with Tom Holland with Willem Dafoe, his whole conversation with like the Green Goblin like character in his mind was just so creepy.
Right, yeah.
Like, oh, you fool! You're weak or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
dude, he really did a great job in that No Way Home movie. Like, I think he probably was the best like performance on the entire movie. No, he did phenomenal. Willem Dafoe was a great actor, so I think he made that character so memorable. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I mean, but speaking of characters, there's one iconic one we have not listed yet who has started this whole thing. Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Stan the man. Yeah. He's literally the face of Marvel.
He is the GOAT of Marvel, bro.
I can't remember his story, but he was talking about Spider-Man because he really came up with the idea and everything. And he was like, well, he was like, no one, he was like, at the time, no one thought this character was going to work out because it was a nerdy kid that it was, not cool and a superhero. And everybody, like, he was like, everyone doubted this character. But he was like, so I just wrote it and then it became Spider-Man,
Just grew.
But it's funny to think about that, like, people didn't think Spider-Man was going to work out as a superhero.
Yeah, because, like, a bug, like, what,
Right. He was like, in the interview, he was like, people hate spiders, and then you're going to have a nerdy teenage kid be a superhero? He's like, that's not really going to work out, so people told him. But he did it, and most iconic, I would argue the most iconic superhero, maybe Superman beats him a little bit, but he's definitely
up there, yeah.
Yeah. When you think of Marvel, you think of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, nah, I mean...
all of his appearances and all the movies, too, it's something to behold, man.
Right. Him and Jack Kirby really created a whole universe. And it's crazy to think about. Like, they made a whole multiverse and everything, and they just...
gorgeous.
Yeah. It got a little confusing when they did so many comics and everything. And I think we're getting to that point in the MCU now where we're getting to the multiverse phase, and it's almost like becoming a little bit too much.
Too much, yeah.
I like the sci-fi elements, but, you got these godlike characters, and it's like, if you're an average fan or like just like a casual fan, it's way too much to keep up on the show and the movies, And then now you have 10 different shows being developed and all that. And
they're just throwing shows out there, on Disney where it's like, okay, you want a Hawkeye? Here's Hawkeye. You want a Loki? Here's Loki.
Right.
Eternals, which Eternals, I don't even know what the frick that is. Like,
right. Yeah. And, and then you have like your main movies like Thor, but then they kind of went like a comedic route, Like it was a little too much comedy.
Yeah.
Marvel movies are always lighthearted, but that was a little bit like too much.
You think so?
And do you like the Marvel movies being lighthearted? Because Spider-Man's always been lighthearted movies, Especially
I like them lighthearted,
trilogy.
but I also like them funny too. I like it when they add a little, spice up, make it a little bit different. A lot of people like Thor: Love and Thunder. They thought it was amazing. I thought it was an okay movie because I like a couple jokes here and there. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great, like, it's serious.
Right.
And there's a couple jokes here and there, and it's
great soundtrack. All that.
Great soundtrack. It just blends all together pretty perfectly. But then with the newest Thor, I just felt like there were so many things, and it was just trying to be funny.
It was like
time. I couldn't take it seriously. Yeah,
there's no room to breathe because you constantly had some dumb joke that would be thrown in like your face every 10 seconds.
Very careful not to bump into any of those big shadow monsters. They're behind me, aren't they?
Oh my God, bro! Oh hell no, man! What the fuck, man?
Like there's a scene where he's like, let me guess, he's behind me.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, all right, come on. Like, you're almost
dude,
like...
You don't need it.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, like, it's Morbin time or something like in that movie, you know what I mean?
So cheesy.
Because, that just fits that, like, tone of the movie. Mm-hmm. Compared to, like, Ragnarok, which I felt like was the perfect mix,
Yeah.
But, yeah, honestly, I think it'd be interesting to see a Spider-Man movie that was dark.
Yeah.
No Way Home got close to this, I feel like. Because the movies that preceded it or came before it were very lighthearted.
Yeah.
But I think when he has like these more emotional moments, it really like makes it more relatable.
Yeah, I mean the whole scene where he just takes off on his own after he finds out Aunt May's dead.
Right.
And he's in the rain, he's bleeding,
he's crying,
and the light's shining on him. Like that's.
It's a great scene, and he talks to Andrew and Tobey, and they have like that kind of heart-to-heart moment and all that. And then like Andrew is like, after Gwen died, like he stopped punching his, stopped pulling his punches and all that, and he became dark. I think a movie like that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, more of a darker side where they really try to figure out after the tragedies, because like Uncle Ben's one thing, and then Aunt May, and then everybody like just lost.
He really lost
that's
everybody.
Insane.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you think the future of Spider-Man's gonna be?
Now I don't know. I think it's gonna veer off and try to maybe show some like him trying to handle
like being
on
his own.
On his own, and just being Spider-Man, having nobody, that remembers him and just how like having to figure everything out.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see it. It's gonna feel a lot different than the first 3 movies we got of him.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna have problems too. Like legally, if you think about it, like there's no Peter Parker, so he's just like, he's just there.
Right.
It's like
no one can help him. He doesn't had no mentor figures anymore.
Yeah, everyone is gone.
Right.
So it's
because in a way, like Aunt May was kind of his moral compass of the movies, and then Tony Stark was that like older father-like figure who kind of showed him how to be a superhero. But now he's on his own, so he has absolutely nobody, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And he lives in like a shitty apartment now.
Yeah.
So definitely curious to see where they take the direction of Spider-Man. But it's also weird because Sony's trying to do their own little thing.
Yeah, with the whole Miles.
And
which is it's good, but it's just weird with so much coming out, different things. But the way the newest movie was set up, I thought was really good because it introduced the multiverse, which is what Marvel already did.
Right.
And it just kind of expanded it, and it really showed the really broad side of everything, especially for Spider-Man. As like in that movie, it had dozens of different kinds of Spider-Man from different universes, and it shows how they're linked by one traumatic event, which is usually someone close to them dying, which is sad.
Yeah. No, for sure. We'll see how it goes, I guess, in the future.
I'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, I don't think they have any movies scheduled right now, but how do you feel about Marvel's current direction?
I don't think it's going in a good direction.
No? I know this is a little bit different from Spider-Man, but we're kind of doing like a Marvel miniseries anyhow, so we can talk a little bit about that as well. I think it's getting too big for its own good at this point. We have how many superheroes, and a lot of them just aren't as memorable as the original cast of the Avengers.
I think if anything, they dial down, stop throwing out so much new and different things, and just throw out maybe one new thing, and then stick to it for a while. Because, they throw out Iron Man. Iron Man, the first movie does great. So then they do about 2 more movies.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is enough. Then we'll go
Plus
to
all
4.
the Avengers movies and everything.
Yeah, and then the Avengers. And they stick with it for a while. They don't just keep throwing crap out there, It's like, build up some arc, some story before you just keep doing other different stuff. Like
it's getting too much now, and I think it's a case of we need more quality over quantity.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? The TV shows, I think, really made it so hard to keep up on Marvel as it is. I'm behind. I haven't watched many of the TV shows, and I don't think I'm missing out too much, to be honest.
People say Loki is pretty good, and so was the Hawkeye, I guess. But is it enough, I think, to keep me watching? I don't know, really.
No, and, we had Ant-Man, Thor. Those are supposed to be...
They're villains that, Loki's a villain. He got, his butt kicked millions of times. I don't need to see more about him, I don't think,
Yeah.
And they just try to broaden it up for no reason.
I think we need another Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting more Avengers movies, but Marvel's
the same.
Marvel's kind of in this weird phase right now because their actor that plays the main villain got fired.
Yeah.
King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Played by Jonathan Majors. So he's gone now. So we don't know if they're going to scrap King and all the storylines they've been trying to build up to that point, or if they're going to recast him, So we'll see with that. Apparently, based on rumors, Secret Wars is supposed to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. From what I've heard.
I would love to see another Andrew Garfield movie for sure. I don't think we need another Tobey, but I think
Sony needs to go back and make another one. If they really want to make their whole own separate Spider-Verse, because they've kind of been doing that with the Venom and Morbius movies, I think Andrew Garfield's a good choice rather than bringing a new actor into
for sure.
You know what I mean? I think he deserves, because he's a great actor and he's a good Spider-Man. It's just the movies that he played in sucked, and it's not really his fault.
It's like bro directed the movie or anything.
No, he did fine. Just give my boy another chance.
Yeah, give my boy another chance.
And I would just love to see Tobey Maguire in Secret Wars, but I don't think he needs his own little.
And another thing too is a lot of the movies have always stuck with Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. I would like to see different characters that's maybe newer, a newer love interest or a different figure that shows up and guides Spider-Man that isn't someone that's already set up, like Iron Man or Uncle Ben or anything like that.
No, for sure. Guess we'll see.
Because I mean, like the old stuff is good. Like what they wrote was really good stuff, but it's like every Spider-Man story is almost the same. You know?
Well, it's been done so many times. You know what I mean? And that's what I said about the MCU movies is they didn't show the Uncle Ben stuff happen again, which I was glad we kind of skipped past that part because we've seen it so many times now. It's like it's become repetitive. You kind of know the whole Spider-Man backstory because it's been done. So I think they need to take a new direction with it. And I think with everybody being out of the picture now and it's just being Spider-Man in the next movies, it's going to be easier to really change the story. He's not going to be in high school anymore. He's not going to have a love interest. Or he might have one later. Who knows? And then from rumors, Ned might become the Hobgoblin. Because Ned in the comics becomes a villain.
Yeah.
And now that he doesn't know Spider-Man and who he is, like he could become a villain, you know?
Yeah.
So that could be really interesting to see play out. But we'll just have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything you want to add?
Overall, great franchise. We love it. Hope they do some more different things. But still sticking to the roots somewhat, obviously. And
yeah, Spider-Man movies are great. I mean, it's a big part of my childhood growing up, you know. It's going in a different direction now, so we'll see where it goes. But
that's all.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. We love y'all.
Bye. Have a good one.
Have a good one.